Ben Holes, and his first strength is speed of his strikes. This is good because it means he can attack his opponent a lot faster, and he gets the speed by relaxing, and then he relaxes, so it's like less tense, so he can get more speed in strikes, and then he tenses up at the last second, so he gets the power in the strikes. Also, he puts his body weight into the strikes to get even more power. He kneels on his opponent to finish him off, so he's controlling him, so his opponent can't attack him. He strikes the vital areas like the neck or the legs, so either they can't come back up after him because they can't stand up, or like got a headache or really in pain. He disables his opponent so he can run away, and then while he's if he's going to put a lock on his opponent, he hits his opponent first, so they're weaker, like there's less resistance, so it's a lot easier to put the lock on. And then he puts the lock on. On his strangle escapes, he takes the pressure off the front of the neck by either pulling down on the arm or hitting his opponent and ruining the circuit through the ground up to his neck, so there's a lot less power. Another strength is his power, because he puts his whole body weight into each strike by moving forward or with a punch twisting his hips, so his whole body weight is behind the punch. And then on his strangle escapes, he disables his opponent again so he can escape. And then on his knife attacks, he's always controlling the knife, so he knows where it is, and it's not going to slash him. And also on his military knife defences, they're quick, and they're like if you're going to kill him with the knife. And then on his gun defences, when he's doing it, the gun, he turns off the line of the gun, so the gun's never pointing at him, and he does quick attacks to disable, get the gun and then get away quickly. His blocking is another strength, because it's always at the right time with his forearm or something instead of his hand, because it's a bigger surface area, so there's a lot more space if you mess up. And then on his three-man attacks, as they're coming in, he does one strike at first to slow him down, and then he keeps on building up his attacks, so at first he'll do one strike, slow him down, and then near the end he'll start adding in throws and stuff, because they're a lot more tight and stay on the floor for longer. His weaknesses, his main weakness is his footwork, because he doesn't get off the line of the attack very often, so if he messed up his block he would get hit. And also his footwork limits him, because if he's going to do a throw or spinning throw, he needs to step back with his feet, so there's a lot more space, but he's not doing that, so it's a lot harder to do the throws. His work is very static, and when he's attacking, his distancing is quite bad as well, because if he's in kicking range, he'll do a kick and he won't move in to attack. He does a kick and then tries an elbow, so the range is off, because if you're in kicking range you won't be able to hit him with an elbow. Good. He pauses a lot, so after his block, he stands still and has a minute to think. And in this time they could have turned around and hit him, so he needs to attack faster.
Good.
And then near the end, his fitness was a weakness, because he was getting a lot more tired and he was losing his control, so he was hitting his opponents a lot more by accident. His agility is also weakness, because he can't move his body fast enough, and if he's going to do a throw, he can't change his body position to enable him to do the throw. And his flexibility is also a weakness, because he can't get his legs up high enough if he's going to do a head kick. Or for some throws you need to be able to get your leg up to the chest, and you can't do that. That's it.
Brilliant. What was the major weakness you identified?
Footwork.
Good. Do you want to explain the action plan?
Alright, so the action plan for footwork is for the first session. This will only be like 10 minutes or something, but you get on the mat, and then there are like little lines in the mat you can see. So he'll just stand like in front of the line like that, and then what he does is he steps off to one side and turns in, then he steps off to the other side and turns in, like staying close to the line, and he also steps back. So this is like, if he was with an opponent, this is where he would step to get around him, or step back. And then after doing that for 10 minutes, well, he'll go and do something else, because the training session's like 2 hours.
Good.
And then in the second training session of that week, I would put him on a punch bag, and he just moves around the punch bag while striking and kicking. And he does this for about 10 minutes as well. So he's just walking around the punch bag, punching and kicking it, doing strikes to different heights. Alright, and then on the second week, for 10 minutes as well, I'd put him with an opponent, and what they do is they do a slow punch to his head, and then he steps off to the left and turns, so he's right behind his opponent, and he also steps off to the right, so this is like with the line, where he's just stepping off so he gets behind him, in front of him, or he steps back and does a kick and then comes back in to attack him. And then on the second session, in the second week, I'd put him with an opponent, and then what he does, he has to do all of his throws, but what he does is he has to add in footwork. So if it's a spinning throw, he has to put his foot down, and then the other one spins behind it and he pivots on his foot, so there's a lot more space for his opponent to go flying into that space. And then on the third week, I'd put him with an opponent again, and then he does the stepping off, but he does 2 steps this time, so he does 1 step which gets off the line of the punch, and then the other step is stepping towards his opponent, so he's like directly in front or behind him, so he can do a lot more close-in techniques, and the closer in he is, the harder it is for his opponent to hit him. And then for the second training session, I'd speed it up again. So I'll do the same session, but the opponent's punching faster, and he has to move a lot faster. And then I'd do this for another week, because it's really important, because he needs to get off the line of punches. And then for the 5th week, what I'd do is I'd get 3 punch bags, all in like a triangle, so they're close in together, and then you'll swing those slowly, so he's got to step off the line so he doesn't get hit by swinging back, and then do 2 strikes, and then it swings and he's got to step off and do another 2 strikes to each pad. And he's got to do that for a bit. And then on the last week, I do 2 or 3 man attacks. So as they come in, what he's got to do is, because he doesn't want to get trapped in the corner or something, he's got to use a lot of footwork to get out of the corner to make it a lot easier. So as they come in, he's got to always be moving, because then he doesn't get trapped, and it's a lot easier if you're moving about because there's a lot more space. Well, for the footwork, what you've got to do is, as they come in, you step off with one foot, but you bring your other foot with you, not like dragging it. You step with it, but you don't jump, because if you leave your foot behind, then as they punch, if you're like going to a big static stance, and it's a lot harder to do kicks or punches from that stance, and then they can hit you because it's a lot easier because you're still target. And you want, as you're stepping off, you want to step off like on a diagonal line, so like that instead of that. So then you're close into him, and you also turn, so so you can be directly behind him, because then it's a lot harder for them to hit you.
Good. You're going to go on to local and national opportunities and then academic excellence.
Yeah. Well, there are quite a few clubs in my local area, but not many of them do Jui Jitsu. So for mass participation, there's my club, which there's a lot of mass opportunity there. It's Bushido Martial Arts at Meadow Mill. There's a beginner class, so there's a beginner and an intermediate, so that's mass participation, because anyone can do that. And then there are other clubs nearby, like Jason Beard Black Belt Academy in Reddish. There's one there, and that's mass participation because a lot of people go there. And then there's also one in Pear Mill. And then at the George Carnell, there are a lot of beginner tournaments and stuff like that. And then for excellence, there are advanced classes at my club. There are black belt academies. And then nationally, there are a lot of camps around the world to help. Most of them are in Brazil, and that focuses more on groundwork. There are tournaments all around the world as well. The WKC hosts quite a lot of these. Yeah, I think that's it.
How do you progress the belts?
The belts, there are 12 cues, and they're white belt to brown belt, and then there's first dan, so it goes white belt first, which is 12 cue, and then it's yellow belt, which takes 3 months, then orange, green, blue, purple. All of those take 3 months to get. Then there's a brown belt, the first one, which takes 6 months. You've got to wait to get that. And then there's a brown and white stripe, where you've got to wait another 6 months to get that. And then there's a brown and black stripe, where you've got to wait 6 months. And then on that grading, if you get 95% or above, you can take your first dan black belt in 6 months, but if you don't get that, then you've got to wait a year to take it. And then after that, there are second dan and third dan, and it goes on. But the higher highest in the world at the minute. I think it's a 10th dan.
Cool.
Because for each number belt, say second dan you got to wait 2 years, third dan you got to wait 3 years. So whatever number dan it is, you got to wait that amount of years. The health benefits of Jui Jitsu are that it increases your cardiovascular fitness, and it reduces the amount of high cholesterol. It's very good for social because you're working with a partner or multiple partners for like 2 hours, so you get to know them really well and you get to make friends with quite a few of them. It's it's a lot of fun because you're like beating people up without actually hurting them. It's also very good for stress relief because you're hitting people pretty much. It reduces the risk of getting osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. It also teaches you like discipline and respect for others, and it also like teaches you your morals of like what's good and wrong, and tells you like when to fight and don't. And then that's it.
Brilliant, well done, Ben.